Hi, welcome to Clutter Bravado.
Yes, and it's the energy. It's not just about the stuff.
So we should probably just get into it, right?
Let's go.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I know today we're recording this in a fall late afternoon, which is unusual.
It is. We might lose sun. I don't know. Who cares? We've got our lighting set up. Everything looks great. I like it here. Hi.
So, how was your evening last night?
Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool.
You had a very LA.
I did have a very LA evening. Yeah. Going to first Just One Eye.
And if anybody, please do go. It's a fantastic store on Sycamore.
It's gorgeous. We've been there a handful of times, mostly because I kind of I study every time I'm there. It's kind of like going to a library, but of fashion.
Yeah, and they have also
and
cool
furniture.
art and cool furniture.
Yes.
And cool jewelry.
Oh my God, the jewelry. And, they have our perfume, the perfume that I wear now. Perfume at LA, which I love. Anyway, they're not sponsoring us. You could.
That was
No,
good. No,
we're not. For those listening, I winked at the camera. No, they're not sponsoring us. We just actually genuinely are big fans. And
we've met the owner and Paula and her brother, and they're really cool people. It's a fun store. It's elegant. It's probably one of the best stores in Los Angeles in terms of fashion and art.
Incredibly curated, really beautiful. So going to an event there last night was really fun. They had a DJ and everything. And what was the name of the designer?
Yoshi Yamamoto?
Yes, Yoshi Yamamoto. I've never seen anything
That's cool.
like it because it's so beautifully crafted. And it was really funny because it was you and me and our friend Ron Woodson, and all of us were just kind of like, oh, I'm like, I think I need to wear this. And both of you were like, I think you need to wear this.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh. It was so gorgeous. It's so chic. And Ron was wearing a jacket, from the designer. It was such a cool event. And I love how much I'm learning about fashion. I talked about this on a previous episode before, but I feel like fashion and design, it's fashion, it's all the same, under the same umbrella. It's all the same industry in some ways. And to meet some of the people that
Ray from Upsolid was there.
Yes.
We had Tazia. Tazia was there.
Tazia was there. This is the second episode that we've mentioned her name on now.
She really needs to come and...
She really needs to come and do the show.
Do the show with us.
Yeah.
Eric Baraba was there, who is probably the most talented...
Florist
and flower designer.
Flower designer?
He's beyond florist. That's someone that would be very fun to have on the podcast.
Making art with flowers. That's so cool. Yeah.
It definitely is. It was just a really fun.
It was a really great time. I had a really great time. And then afterward, to make this a real LA evening, I went to an early screening of Gladiator 2. That was rad. So how I got there, there's another podcast that I was on as a guest a few months ago, right before we started Clutter Bravado, actually, called, I believe it's called The Recovery Pod. And with Alicia Spendlove and Eden Sassoon, and Alicia's husband was hosting the screening, and I was so grateful to be invited. It was really fun, and I kind of liked the movie too.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yes, I like an action movie. Do you like action movies?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
Yeah, I will watch any action movies that comes out. It's even if it's bad, I still find it good. But Gladiator, I'm looking forward to it. The first one was epic.
I mean, epic. The second one, I think that it does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
It definitely honors the first one without being too over the top reverential of it. Well, kind of, but I really liked it. I had a good time. It was a good time in the theater. Oh, actually, can I go on a tangent real quick?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of action movies, it's almost Die Hard season, and I'm so excited about it.
The best Christmas movie ever.
Yes, it's my favorite Christmas movie. I know that it's now sort of a cliche, like, oh, your favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard. No, but for real, I'm not going to be in LA for Christmas, but every Christmas that I've had in LA, I've gone to New Beverly Cinema and I've seen Die Hard in the theater. They play it every Christmas Eve.
That's just so funny.
It's my favorite tradition that started the first year that I lived here. And I've talked before too about my love of Quentin Tarantino and his movies. It's just something that it's I can't let it go. Not going to. Love Tarantino. One day I will be in one of his movies. I will. But he owns the New Beverly Cinema, and on Christmas Eve, the first year that I was here back in 2015, he was in the theater and was there for Die Hard the first time I got to go. And it was the coolest thing. I loved it so much. I got to meet him afterward. It was so rad. But yeah, anyway, Die Hard season is real. Okay. Christmas season.
Well, first we're going to have to go through Thanksgiving week.
We have to do Thanksgiving first. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm never the person who does that. I'm never the person who skips Thanksgiving for Halloween, for Halloween, for Christmas. That's wild. Who am I becoming?
There are too many Christmas ornaments already out there. This is no good. It's just stressing me.
Oh no. But what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
So, seeing that Thanksgiving was not really, it's not a holiday in Europe.
It's not a holiday in Europe. Yeah.
So it's an extra day off.
Oh, okay. A day of rest.
And it's really fun because I don't have to do anything.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I probably should find a Thanksgiving movie that could be my tradition of watching. If anybody has an idea, just
there's a
send DMs.
really. I'm not gonna call it bad, but there's a horror movie, a slasher movie. It's not.
Oh, that scares me.
Yeah.
I live by myself.
Called Thanksgiving, and it's gross if you wanted to, but that doesn't seem like it's your style.
That's not my style.
Okay. What's a Thanksgiving movie?
I don't know.
Can
Top Gun be that?
Top Gun?
Yeah. I'm just throwing it out there. It's non-traditional.
You can watch Top Gun all year round.
Okay, so
do you want Top Gun to be your Thanksgiving movie?
It might be, yeah. Maybe.
I don't think they don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the movie at all.
No.
That's okay.
But maybe
you just want to watch Top Gun. You don't have to make
even
it a
though
whole
there's
thing.
probably football too on TV,
yes,
which
that's right.
we know that
which
I don't know who's playing, but I know that I like football. So
it's weird.
So that's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So you're just gonna watch football, hang out, and rest.
And rest.
I like that. This normally Thanksgiving is my cooking holiday.
Yeah.
But this year, because I'm not going back home, I'm going to be in the general LA area. But the day after, I'm going to a Friendsgiving with my friends from high school. And that was a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. All 5 years.
Oh, stop
oh my
it.
God.
Oh, my gosh. No, stop laughing. I'm coming up on my 20-year anniversary. I'm going to have my 20-year high school anniversary next year.
Huh.
Yeah. Listen, I know I look youthful and cute and whatever, but
Okay.
It's 20 years. 20 years. I graduated in 2005. So, a few of my friends from high school who happen to live in California now are all getting together for Thanksgiving, and I get to see them, and I'm so excited.
That'll be fun.
I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, but the few that I really did have were usually through theater, so they're like my theater friends.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
like
going to be really fun. I'm really excited about that. So I have that to look forward to. But on actual Thanksgiving itself, I think I might also take a day of rest. I'm not going to watch Top Gun, though.
No?
No. I might watch like a season of something. I might just chill out. Maybe I'll change my hair.
Big plans.
I don't know.
We're full of big plans for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good week.
It'll be a good week.
Good Thanksgiving week.
Yes. And also, you've got some decorating coming up because you deck this place out.
For Christmas.
Christmas. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it.
And what your plans are for it, because I'm excited to see how it transforms. I haven't been here during the Christmas season, so
right.
I'm so excited.
There's
cool.
a lot of planning and cooking and
Yes.
decorating, so it'll be fun. That's going to be great.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
So
talk
much
about
cooking.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I have to practice. I'm going to make.
You have to practice.
There are
You
a
have
couple
to
of new
practice your
things.
menu, and you want to make sure. Are you doing it for like taste testing purposes? Because if you happen to do that on a day that I might be around, I would just I eat.
Oh, can I go on a tangent?
Yes.
I made tiramisu for the first time, and it was really good. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I know this is your tangent.
No, please take my tangent and run with it.
You nailed it. You did such a good job. And can I high five you right now?
Oh yeah, please do.
Great job. Great job. The tiramisu. It's my favorite dessert.
So it'll be on the Christmas party menu.
You're bringing it in.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the Christmas party. We can't yet.
No.
That's secret. It's under wraps.
But you already know that there's one.
There will be one.
There will be one tiramisu there.
There will be tiramisu there. I love that you did that because it felt like a personal gift to me. It felt like it was personal. I know that it wasn't, but it still felt like, aw, tiramisu is my favorite dessert. And then you learned how to make it. That's so nice.
It was partly for you. And then it was also a really fun experience and a fun dessert to make. And
really?
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually neat to, it's like, because there's like little tweaks. And I don't know, I had a good time.
Yeah, it was perfect. It was delicious.
Yeah, it was that, and I made a boeuf bourguignon, which I had not made a boeuf bourguignon in, I don't know, 20 years, since I got out of high school.
Really? For those who are aggressively American, he means pot roast.
Ouch.
I'm kidding.
Yo, I made pot roast.
It's not even the same cut of meat. You used an incredible cut of meat. It was delicious. And there are little pearl onions, which are not in a pot roast. For me, pot roast is like a potato, a carrot, some celery, an onion, couple of onions in a pot with some broth and some beef. And then you just leave it for like a long time.
It's a little bit more complicated than that. It's probably close. It's just that I did spend a little bit more time doing it. But look, it was a recipe that I had not made in a long time. Came out good. The tiramisu was really fun to make. So it's two new things,
Yeah.
All dogs, new tricks. I love it.
That was a delicious dish. And also that was a really fun party that we had too.
Yeah.
I say that you had, that I got to be at.
Yeah,
And also,
but you're part of it.
helped
And
out
it
with,
was,
yes.
yeah.
But getting to have Jamie and Ron, so Jamie Rummerfield and Ron Woodson, I hadn't actually hung out with them together since Ron has been in Lisbon. So to have him here and to have their significant others here and our dearest friend, Alexandra Peck, she's my best friend now. So I cannot wait. It's coming up this next year, I'm planning. And you guys can give me your advice on this too. If you're listening out there and you have an idea. But I want to have a girls only ladies party. Clutter Bravado ladies edition. And Alexandra's going to be my co-host. You're going to be replaced.
And there you go. And there you are, the old guys.
Just for one. No, I feel like it's a necessary thing to get a bunch. When you get women together, there's something that really powerful that happens. Because we're able to be like open and, sharing experiences with each other that maybe like we don't normally talk about. And I feel like that's something that I would love to share with the Clutter Bravado audience. So, but I haven't figured out who I want for guests yet. And I feel like we should have 2, like 4 of us. all on the couch hanging out. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
That would be so fun. Anyway, whatever. I went off on a tangent today. Today's a day of tangents, I guess.
It's a day of tangents. And another, so behind us.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Laurent Suchel finished this wonderful bust, and I love it. So kudos to Laurent. And he's also, you haven't seen that one yet, but he sent me a photo of a table.
Oh, really?
But all enameled in blue. So we'll showcase it really soon. It should be, it's really
We'll
neat.
put it on the Instagram, and we'll put this on the Instagram as well.
So I love working. I love what he does, and he's so cool.
He's a good friend of the podcast. The thing is, if we were to have him on, then that would be our French-speaking podcast.
Yeah, we could do it in French and then get it translated.
Get it translated. If we could, I mean, if people love reading subtitles, or you could just, I mean, we have a French audience. People love you there. So.
So yeah, Laurent did that, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And we'll showcase a few of his pieces. He's made a couple lamps too that are coming. So.
And also, you're going to be sort of doing some updating and moving around to some things in the showroom, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm excited to hopefully, maybe, potentially be a part of that too.
Yeah. We'll talk about that. It'll be fun, and we have. But we'll talk about the Christmas party and the new things.
Okay, so
Next
that's
week.
next week.
Yeah.
Next week. Next episode, you'll hear all about it. But we just love teasing people, I think. Just stay tuned.
Just stay tuned.
You never know what's
going to come back next week. We'll tell you more about it.
We'll tell you all about it. We're going to be vague.
And remember to follow us while you're at it. Not to be bossy, but...
It would really help us. We could really use it. Thank you. That was a...
So, yeah. That was a desperate move.
That was a little desperate. It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
We could try reverse psychology. We could be like, don't even follow us.
Well, we're a little too cool.
Are we too? No.
Yes, we are.
Is that what
that
it
is?
We're too cool.
We're too cool. We
Oh
don't need followers.
Oh, no.
Is that what it is?
Maybe that's exactly it.
It is the French thing,
Oh, so
No.
I'm sorry. You think you're the one who's too cool?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm so sorry to do that to you, but, the French guy, older, sophisticated, a little too cool. I don't smoke on the podcast, but I could.
Ew.
Please don't follow
Okay,
us.
listen. I understand. Maybe it is you. Or maybe...
Oh, yeah.
Or
today's
maybe-
a rough day. Oh, my God. I'm trying here.
You're doing a really good job.
I know, but you're looking at me like, of course it's not you. You know that my self-esteem is, Jesus, sorry, guys.
no,
Sorry.
no.
Yes. I'm being replaced. It's obviously not me.
Laurent,
Yes.
you're doing great. You're everybody's favorite. Don't cry.
I'm a little emotional.
You're everybody's favorite host. I'm just here. I'm just present.
You know that's not true.
I did. Hey.
All right.
Okay.
Our guest.
Should we get to our guest? Yes.
You go.
Erinn V. Oh, okay. First of all, if you don't see her Instagram, you oughta, because she has such cool content. She's so smart and so helpful and talks to people who are designers and people who are just interested in decorating their homes. She's been all over media regarding decor. I said that in the weirdest possible way. She's been all over television. She's worked with a lot of different brands, and she's an incredible designer. And also she's so fun to talk to. I really like her a lot. And it doesn't hurt that she's stunningly beautiful. Can we, I mean...
I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I will say Erinn is a stunningly beautiful, badass designer woman.
She is. She's so rad. I really like her. I really love sitting down and talking with her. So now we should probably just get to it, yeah?
Let's go.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to Clutter Bravado, and today we are here with Erinn V. How are you, darling?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you were able to make it here, especially for all the traffic. You're coming all the way from Thousand Oaks. She said on her way here, it was, an hour and 35-minute drive and an afternoon.
Yeah, it just kept getting longer as you
Yeah.
go, which, as you get close to 4 o'clock, it's like, should have left at 2.
But I'm so glad that you made it. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thanks, me too.
So a little bit about you. You are mostly well known for having started an incredible career in design by the age of 24 or 25. You were featured in Architectural Design Mexico, in
Pretty much every
El Decor. You were featured on HGTV.
There was quite a few, thankfully, over the years, magazines and TV shows and all that good stuff.
So you have been very much face forward in the industry for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the other designers that we've spoken with are doing so much behind the scenes, or they're working with more private clients. But especially with you, you're right out there. How do you feel that that might be different from some of the other elements of working in the design industry?
Well, I think the media side of it is very different, So I guess a little bit of background on how I kind of got into design and the career I had right before, I think very much so influenced this particular aspect of my business. I worked for a lady named Susie Coelho for 6 years. So from the time, when did I start? I was 18 to 24. And this is when Martha Stewart was exploding on the scene.
Yeah.
Right? HGTV was taking over the world. It was a whole new thing. Lifestyle expert was a term that everybody wanted to be suddenly. And Susie wanted to be a lifestyle expert. And so she had been a TV host and a model and had a really incredible career hosting for HBO and all kinds of award shows and various different things, and had love at home and had a great, beautiful house. She had done many of her own. She'd helped some friends. She was by no means a designer for hire, but definitely, had a beautiful aesthetic and wanted to have a product line and TV shows and all this stuff. So I got an incredible experience and education in marketing, in PR, in media, working for her. So for 6 years, I was her number 2. Learned how to contact media, how to write, pitch ideas for TV shows. We had a regular segment on the Today Show, so I was flying with her to New York regularly and, figuring out what to talk about for holiday gift guides or Father's Day or, Valentine's makeover for The View.
Yeah.
So we were doing like TV-based design, I like to call it. We were doing makeovers for people for shows, and that was really fun. And then we were writing for magazines, and she was an incredible marketer. So that very much taught me like how to get the word out and how to start something and how to just make it happen in terms of the exposure side of things. And we had 2 books that we wrote and produced with Simon & Schuster on home decor and style called Susie Coelho's Everyday Styling and Styling for Entertaining. And then she had product licensing deals. So Mervyn's was the first one. So I was helping her create a bed, bath, and tabletop collection with, an incredible licensing agent called the Beanstalk Group in New York who did Mary Kate and Ashley and Harley Davidson. I mean, you name it. They're like the agency in licensing. And it was so fun. So I got to do like all these different things around design, but just not design real people's homes personally, let's say.
Sure.
Right?
So from that, because you started that, you said when you were 18 until you were 24.
Yeah.
How did you land that in the first place? Like, how did you end up with your foot in that door? Because that's an incredible place to get started.
It is completely by accident.
Yeah.
So I always liked to work. So I started training horses when I was 13. So I went and got a job at the barn at the Equestrian Center in Los Angeles. I wanted to learn how to ride a certain style of riding, and I couldn't afford riding lessons. My mom, single mom, doing her best.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to do that. She was like, well, go ask for a job. Okay. So I did. Went up to the trainer who had never met, and I said, I want to learn how to do this. Can I work here in exchange for riding lessons? And after a quick back and forth, she said, yep. So I rode my bike from, junior high and high school until I could drive. Like Monday was my day off. I worked 6 days a week, 13 to 18 at the barn. And that was awesome. And I wanted to take a summer off when I was 18. I was like, I'm going to take a gosh darn summer off. I'm not going to have 8 jobs, because I also worked at the Gap and like worked at a surf shop,
Oh my gosh,
those kinds of things.
It's like you're telling my story. I love it.
So one day my mom's friend called me, who was a headhunter, and she said, I have this incredible woman you should meet, and I thought about you. She wants to hire an assistant, and her name is Susie Coelho, and she's, looking for someone, and you have to meet her. And I was like, no. No, I'm taking
off.
the summer off. And to me, that meant I was only training horses part-time.
Yeah.
So I was going to work from 7 to noon, Monday through Friday. Really, that was a summer off for me. Yeah. So I went and met with Susie, and because my mom's friend was like, no, you're going. You two need to meet. And I was like, I really am not looking for a job, but like you seem amazing, maybe in the fall. And she wouldn't let me leave her house until I said yes. So it turned into like a 3-hour meeting. And I mean, I'm so happy I did. It was absolutely incredible opportunity.
Totally.
But yeah, that's
So
what happened.
is that where you learned to not take no for an answer?
Probably.
It's like, wait, when I was 18, I got a crash course on you don't take no for an answer.
I think that was something that I was definitely born with, because
Okay.
I've been bossing people around from even before that.
I love it. In women they call it bossy, but in men it's called leadership, and I feel like in women it should just be called leadership. Anyway.
I don't feel like I'm like, that's a conversation you can't have a mind.
So you were working as an assistant for this person who was very face forward and had all these brands, and you started learning about all of the marketing. So when did it transform into you being the one who was at the center?
Yeah, great question. So after doing, that for about 6 years and having this incredible experience portfolio, but the credits were hers, clearly, right? I was like, okay, I want to start my own business. I always knew I wanted to have my own business. I didn't know what that was supposed to be, though. And even then, I still didn't really know what it was supposed to be.
Were you drawn to the home since you'd been working in it
Yes.
for a while, so you were now like more comfortable with it? That was something that you started to really like?
I always loved real estate.
Oh, okay.
And so even as a small child, like I always loved the idea of building homes or just real estate in general, but I didn't really know what that meant. And I certainly didn't think about interior design as a profession.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm, my grandfather was like a cabinet maker and, a contractor, but like no one had an interior designer in Sacramento,
Sure. Yeah.
And, again, a friend of a friend kind of intervened and said I had actually designed my first apartment in Silver Lake, which was by no means fancy.
For sure.
IKEA, thrift store,
Naturally.
/ Susie's hand-me-downs. I was like, yes, give it all to me.
Yes.
And it was a really cute building that was the 1920s, Spanish quad.
That's great, yeah.
So it was like charming architecture, and someone had absolutely butchered it on the inside. It was like turquoise beams. They painted all the wood beams turquoise.
That's a nightmare, actually.
A nightmare. Teal carpet, dark teal carpet everywhere that matched the teal Formica countertops that they'd installed. It was very pulled together, actually.
It's creative.
Yeah. So I walked in and I was like, I can't afford this place, but wow, it's ugly, but it's got great bones. So I went up to the landlord, and I said, listen, 18. You should rent this to me for less because it's fucking ugly. And I will fix it up. Let me do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Don't get in my way. You pay to replace the carpet, but I'll pick it out. We'll do a nice Berber. And let me paint. And when I leave, you'll rent it for double, like that. And he said, okay. So I spent my, evenings faux finishing the wood beams back to look like they should, and painted it all. And, again, IKEA drapery, like thrift store,
whatever you
garage
have,
sale stuff. And it was really cute.
Yeah.
And my friends would come over and they're like, oh, you should be an interior designer. This place is amazing. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, doesn't everyone do this? Like, why wouldn't you do this?
Why wouldn't you?
This was pretty easy. Like,
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you do this?
Yeah.
And apparently I was a little bit crazy for thinking that. And they're like, no, that's not how normal people think or live or do.
Do you ever kind of go into somebody, like, I know that, especially in my 20s, I would go to people's houses and they just have like couch.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
They have maybe table. But like there isn't like a feel to the room. There isn't a flow to the room. There isn't a sort of vibe that they're trying to create. I'm exactly the same way. Also in Silver Lake, I lived in a basement level studio apartment with tile floor. This room was It was a basement.
Yeah.
And it was so small, but over the course of the 4 years that I lived there, I transformed it into this space that anyone who came over was like, it is so cozy down here. It's really lovely. And there was something that was so special about creating that in my home, you know? Totally. So you had created this Silver Lake apartment for yourself. You worked really hard in like putting it together. Did you ever photograph it?
No.
No.
No. So then my boyfriend lived down the block.
Okay.
So then before that. So a friend of a friend, my friend came over and she said, I have a job for you. The head of photography for New Line Cinema, where she worked, just bought a condo and needs a designer. And I told her that you would do the job. And I was like, what? I don't take clients. I don't know how to work with someone to get their ideas out of their head and mix it with mine and then make it happen in the real world. I mean, the TV makeovers, like, you don't talk to the people. You just do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, you just have to go meet with her. And I felt very much, again, like it was, you know, when I met Susie when I was 18. It's like, but fast forward, here we were again. So I went and met with this woman and I was like petrified. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like a fraud. I'm totally going to just like BS my way through this interview. I don't know what I'm doing. And I charged her $25 an hour. Very high rate back then.
That was yeah. Wow.
And painted her apartment or her condo myself because my mom had a painting business for 30 years. So I can paint a house better than most people. And did home goods and a little bit of this and a little bit of, you know, a touch of custom and then a lot of just whatever we could find. And it was super cute and she loved it. And so after that, then I quit my job.
Okay.
I moved in with the boyfriend and I was like, all right, I'm going to be an interior designer.
I love it.
Go.
I love it. Nice. So did you have any feeling of imposter syndrome when you first got started beyond that like first job? Like as you were going through, like sure, like the first job might be a little bit like, okay, get to be creative a little bit. When did that start to feel challenging to you or did it never feel challenging for you?
Well, I think as the jobs got bigger, you know, at every step, it was like, oh God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I going to totally screw this up? Is this going to look okay? For
Yeah.
years. Now I know it's going to look okay. You know, I know it's going to look great. And if it doesn't look great in the moment, I'll get it there.
Yeah.
Like I have absolute confidence that I can get it there.
So you're really like trusting your own taste, you're trusting your skill and the experience that you have. So that, I mean, that's so important, having that trust in yourself as a designer. Have you like worked with a client that has a different set of taste than you do, or maybe is sort of pushing you in a direction that you don't necessarly like?
All
or
the
there's
time.
something that,
Clients are a pain in the butt. Opinionated.
I was trying to be really delicate about it, but they're a pain in the ass.
Most of them are terrible, and then you have the few that make it all worth it, and you're like, how do I find more of you?
Right.
You know, you are my perfect client.
Yeah.
You stay out of my way, you enjoy the process, and you pay the bills on time.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're the happiest though, the ones that can actually let go and take a back seat because they hired a professional for a reason. They always end up with the best results because it isn't like there are 5 cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
There's a chef and a sous chef.
Yeah, I feel like
right? that's a better way to go.
Totally. That's really much. That's often the case with any service provider.
Yeah.
I worked in the beauty space for a long time, and I know that for me, I was a bridal makeup artist for about 7 years. And during that time, whenever I would have a bride sit down in my chair, I wouldn't let her look in the mirror. And I said, I need you to trust me. Give me all of your notes. Give me everything that you like, that you want to achieve. But don't watch the process because you're going to have a lot of opinions on this that aren't going to be what you're going to see at the end. And I feel like the design process can a lot of times be that, but you don't have the privilege of being able to say, no, just don't look at it. I've got this. Don't worry. Just trust.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's the case, that there are clients of yours that are totally hands off? They're just like, yeah, go for it. Do you have that pretty frequently?
Not frequently.
Yeah.
Now, I know I've spoken to quite a few, like, much bigger designers than myself, and they all seem to have it much more figured out. Like, we don't ask too many opinions of the client. You know, I present one look, and then maybe make 2 tweaks, and I'm like, okay, that's how it's done. You know, so I could just be doing it wrong, for sure. I could totally be doing it wrong.
Yeah, maybe that's the key, is just to say, like, don't worry about it. Just not present them with the choice, and then just make the choice, and then they're probably satisfied with it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the favorite phone call is when you paint the room and they call you and they're like, that color doesn't work, and you're like, that color goes with everything else.
Yes.
Just relax.
Yes.
And then sometimes it's like, and that color needs a second coat too.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
you imagine they can't, they don't know. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a few of your projects, so I'm always impressed. But can you explain what's your? I have an opinion of what your forte is, but can you?
I love to hear that.
I know, but I'd like you to tell us, because you're very special in that way.
Well, thank you. I don't know what it is, but I'm excited about it.
It's mysterious. Yeah.
I very much like to be heavily involved in the architecture of a space. And I think that probably comes from the early days of growing up in my grandfather's wood shop and watching him make things. And he'd been a contractor and then a fine cabinet maker. And my father studied architecture, but then went into landscape architecture. So it's not really like a surprise that I ended up where I ended up, but to me it was very much a surprise.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you don't have the right box, if you don't have the right home, room, walls, ceiling, windows, the stuff you put inside of it can only make the space so great. And you could have a phenomenal room and almost put nothing inside of it and it looks amazing, right? So the architecture, the flow, the way a home feels is very instinctual to me. And there are certainly like some checklist, these moves always work, height, light, and views, you know, kind of things. But yeah, I really like to get the box right. And I'm, again, very opinionated and very bossy about how things should be done and how they shouldn't be done.
Yes.
And I'm very much of the opinion that just because you went to architecture school and have a degree doesn't mean you have any talent in this space. You know, and there's a lot of bad architecture out there.
Whew.
And then there's phenomenal ones, obviously, right? But also, just because you went to design school, right, doesn't mean you're any good. Just because you went to any school doesn't mean you actually have talent in the space.
Yeah.
You might technically have a good foundation, but there's such a heavy element of creativity and artistry that you can't learn a lot of that stuff, in my opinion.
There's a big difference between technical skill and taste.
Yes,
Definitely.
huge. And knowing that, you know, okay, what's the wonky thing in this room that I'm going to try to avoid and draw your attention over here from, and how can I cover it up with great drapery or a big piece of art or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
There's some smoke and mirrors that always is needed in certain spaces, unless you're literally just taking everything down to the studs or doing a new build.
I mean, that's exactly, because the flow of every project, it's really, I mean, you have a serious talent for it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I'm always impressed.
Thank you.
Because that's exactly what. It's funny. It's right on.
It's my best friend said years ago that I am the president of the Make It Better committee.
Yeah.
So if something can be better, whatever it might be, sitting at dinner, I'm like, this needs salt. Where's give me a lemon, you know, down to anything.
Yeah.
I'm the one that takes my clothes in to get them tailored just that little bit. And like, she won't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dress doesn't fit you properly. Like, what are you doing? Just take it to the dry cleaner and have them, you know, take an inch off and take a thing here. Like, come on. And she's like, so much work. But to me, that's just what you do.
Yeah.
So
I love that. There's always a little something that can be tweaked. There's always a way that everything can be a little bit better. I love that. That's actually a really beautiful way of looking at things. And it's not from a standpoint of like judgment of like, this is what's wrong with it, but this is how it could be better.
Exactly.
It's just like, it's the other side of the same coin, kind of, but it's a nicer side.
Yeah.
So throughout your career, there's one thing that has stayed the same, and that is your love of horses.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I want to know about that. I want to know about how this has grown and whether or not you were ever actually able to ride in the way that you wanted to when you were a kid.
Well, that's a good question. I grew up on a farm outside Sacramento, and I had a pony that was a hand-me-down pony from my cousin that I assume my mom bought or something from her when my cousin outgrew her. Her name was Sugar, and she was the devil.
Of course.
Yes.
I feel like
Ponies are mean.
Every horse that I've met named Sugar is awful.
Sugar, most ponies they're kind of like Chihuahuas, you know, a lot of attitude.
You have to compensate for.
There's a lot of compensation. They are, it's Napoleon syndrome. I'm little, so I'm going to get you. And Sugar was difficult, but I always loved horses. It was just like, that's my favorite animal. And they're so magical and wonderful and feeling and compassionate, but big and strong, fast and slow, snuggly, but incredible and terrifying at the same time. So I like the challenge of it. And then I got another horse my mom bought me somehow. I don't know where this horse came from. And he was not rideable. He wasn't broke when I was a kid. So I was like, why do we have this one that is useless but pretty? So he stayed out in the pasture and we did nothing with him, and then sold him to somebody that could ride him. I mean, I was 8. What am I going to do with a horse you can't ride?
Wow. And
then we moved to LA. So we moved to LA when I was 9. We lived in Los Feliz, and I made a family friend, and I borrowed money from him as like a 12-year-old and got him to buy me a horse. I was like, I need a horse, and here's what I need, and I'm going to pay you back for this, so let's go. And we went horse shopping, and of course I was a fool and bought the first one that I saw, which she was wonderful, but also a bit of a disaster. So I would, ride my bike after school to the barn and ride her, and then started working at the equestrian center, where I was able to be around like really expensive, nice animals. And so no, I never got to ride the way I wanted to as a kid. I'm very good. I'm a great trainer. I'm a very good equestrian, but it comes down to money, and do you have 6 horses, and can you afford to go to all the shows? And that was certainly a no. But I was giving lawyers riding lessons on their $100,000 show horses by the time I was 16.
Wow.
And they were like, wait, how old are you? What's going on here?
Yeah.
But you're great. So, okay, let's keep doing this. So I got to show a little bit, and, I rode 6 of them a day on average, 6 days a week. I was at the barn, just constantly. So it was a really great way to grow up, and really cool people that I was around and got to travel for horse shows with. So it very much makes you grow up quickly in that regard. Like, I always liked being around adults, and I preferred, even as a small child, I wanted to sit at the adult table at Thanksgiving. Don't stick me in that kid table. So I liked being around cool adults. They were all very interesting from a range of careers, And then when I was 18, I stopped riding, basically. Started, a real career, and wasn't filthy and sweaty and dirty every day at the barn. And didn't really do much of it. I mean, I'd ride here and there occasionally. And then COVID, I was bored out of my mind, because all of my favorite things, which is food, going out to eat, shopping for cute clothes to wear somewhere that you're eating, traveling, right? Nobody was doing any of these things was how I spent my time. And I was like, okay, I think it's time to get back into horses. And so I bought 2 really awesome quarter horse mares. That was my COVID purchase for my birthday. And here we are years later, and the number has grown.
And you said you have 9.
We're not talking about that.
We can cut that part.
No, it's fine. Something like
amazing,
that.
Though.
Something like that.
Something around that. It's so beautiful to be able to go full circle from like how you grew up and something that you were passionate about as a kid, and then to be able to bring that back into your life. Is there anything else that you have now, like throughout your trajectory of life, like now that you've come back to this place of honoring your like inner child, is there anything else that you're really connected with these days?
I mean, I don't probably know, I would say. I mean, the horses are a pretty big part of my free time, my hobby, my passion all at once. And we have a wonderful trainer who's from Brazil, and he started his own business in Scottsdale a couple of years ago. So, it's just a lovely community of people. And I specifically picked a sport where everyone is generally very friendly and nice. There are some sports that are highly political and very sandbox arguing, he said, she said, I'm better, blah blah, and I want nothing to do with that. There's a lot of drama in the horse world, like there can be in any world where you have a lot of wealthy, opinionated people. And luckily our barn is not like that, and this industry for the most part is not like that. So it's just brought some really wonderful people into my life where you just have a good time, and everyone's happy for each other, and getting to be an owner now and not being the groom at the barn as I was before, and the trainer's assistant. That's nice. But I also, really understand the animals and the sport and what it takes to keep these athletes at their top. and I only want to participate at the top level. And so my
Yeah.
trainer loves that because I'm like, well, we only want the best.
Yeah.
And he's like, obviously, I only want the best too. So
Never, you
that's
just
nice.
seem to never settle for less than the best. I love
Nope.
that. Ah, you just, you set the bar high for yourself and you meet it. And
Yeah.
every area of your life, I think it's really admirable and aspirational. That's
Thanks.
gorgeous. So beyond design, beyond horses, what's your life like?
I married a wonderful man.
Yeah.
So, yep, I have a great husband who's from Switzerland and is building drones, micro drones for the military.
Oh, wow.
So that's a fun and completely different side of
Completely
the world
different,
that I get to
completely
dabble
different
in.
side of the
I
world.
was going to make
Yeah.
a bad joke, but you married a European man? Just kidding.
Yes. Imported, one of the best.
That's so great. Oh, I love it.
I told him he was exotic when I met him, and he was like, "What?" I'm like,
What?
"You're
Me?
exotic."
I'm Swiss.
So, do you spend time in Switzerland then?
I did a lot as we were long
Yeah.
distance for about 5 years, LA
Yeah.
to Zurich. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, long distance from LA to Zurich. I'm in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend in New York, and it feels long. And to Switzerland, that takes a lot.
Yeah.
That takes a lot.
It does.
But Switzerland is my favorite country that I've visited so far in my life. I think
nice.
it's absolutely beautiful.
It is. It's a great
yeah,
country.
It's gorgeous. So, how long have you been together now?
We met in 2011,
Okay.
so since 2012. So what is that? 14 years
Oh,
ish.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you guys like to do together, considering that your lives are so different when you are apart?
Yeah. Well, luckily he shares my passion for food and wine.
Yes.
We like to travel. He loves to go look at real estate, so that's fun. So we have a
Great.
lot of good times
Yeah.
on Zillow, even just on a Sunday morning,
Yeah.
looking at homes and thinking about things. And I change my mind a lot about a lot of things, and he just goes with it.
Yeah.
So we both, kind of are similar in that way, and that makes it work because I can be like, I want to go over here and do this, and then the next day I'm like, so I don't really want to do that at all, but I think we should go here instead. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay,
And there's a shout out for Danny because
yes.
on top of being a lovely man, and you'll meet him, he's brilliant, an athlete. He made me a cappuccino that I still remember.
Wow.
Still
Yes.
think about it today.
I still think about that cappuccino. It was outstanding.
It was out. It's even better now.
It-
He has a
did he-
whole new
oh, yeah.
process. There's a scale involved
Okay.
Oh,
now.
my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
There's a little 3-pronged thing that he fluffs the grinds with prior to compacting them,
I don't know. It was.
and he
it
swears
was,
by it.
It was special. I mean,
Wow.
and you know me. It was special.
Okay.
You know your stuff.
Yeah, I know. I mean, especially, but that one
Yeah.
was.
So, I mean, the milk is the best part of a cappuccino, though, isn't it? Besides the espresso. But, that's the only two parts of it. But the texture of the milk is what's important.
But it was
Right?
everything was
And it's
perfect.
very hard to get that. But
It
the
is.
flavor of the beans
Yeah.
is first.
True.
And there's so much bad coffee out there.
There
and I
is.
just don't understand why
Yeah.
people drink this stuff that tastes so terrible. It's bitter and,
Yeah.
bleh, when
think they're
there
drinking it for
is a
effect.
wonderful. I didn't even know. I mean, most American coffee, I think, is just terrible.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
yet there are some here that are wonderful. And you're like, oh my gosh, where was this my whole life?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we're doing mostly Lavazza beans these days.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the real Italian.
Oh, nice. I want to go back into the real estate because you have had a passion about that for a very long time, and something that I'm always curious to ask designers who are actually in the space. What is something that really stands out to you as an incredible piece of real estate? When you find something on Zillow, you're like, oh, I am immediately attracted to this. What are a few things that you specifically look for?
Well, I guess it would depend on if I'm looking for a flip or what. So I'm now developing my own projects as well, which I really enjoy. And that brings about a whole other element of learning of construction loans and financing and how you do all these things and borrowing money from certain people and lenders. And, I'm juggling this whole interesting side of financing projects now. But I always look for ceiling height, big windows, a floor plan that hopefully makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna
take it
out anyway.
She'll change it. Make it better.
But mostly the views, because those are what you can't change, right? What am I looking at? What's across the street? What do the neighbors look like? Certain things you can, of course, block with great landscaping, you know, which is an easy move that I feel like a lot of projects I see just are missing, like great landscaping or privacy, or hide the thing you don't want to see with a giant tree. Like, it's pretty ordinary stuff, but a lot of people just don't do that.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at a home, I'm always looking through the windows in the photography to see what I look at. A view home is always going to be much more valuable than a not a view home.
Absolutely.
So there's in LA at least $1 million premium on a view home. You know, just add it on top. And the better your views get, just keep adding a couple $1 million for those views. And then, you know, we're usually gutting the thing, but bones, you know, are the uglier the better. But see, I'm looking for something very specific. I'm looking for the ugliest thing on the nicest street, right? The ugliest thing with the best views. I don't want something that somebody's just remodeled.
Yeah,
and
of course.
so I'm usually looking at ugly homes. And if they have a little bit of 50s charm or 60s charm or 70s charm, I love that. I want personality. You know, unfortunately on the West Coast, we have very little architecture that actually has any history to it. I mean, this beautiful building is a testament. And in Los Angeles, there are some, but it's not most.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, idiot developers come in and tear them down these days, which is such a shame.
It is so heartbreaking when that happens.
Yeah.
I've spoken on this podcast before about how I have like a deep love for historical architecture. And I'm learning more about historical architecture in Los Angeles. But there's something that there's a different sound. There's a different vibration to being in an older home. And what I found with a lot of these developers who are just knocking down entire blocks of homes to put up what is, I'll be frank, a hideous building that has absolutely no personality, because they're overall trying to create a community and trying to create more of an area of commerce where people can communicate with each other, can network with each other, but that doesn't tend to work out that way. They end up sitting vacant for a long time because they don't have character.
Right.
So what is there a specific style of older home that you're really attracted to or that you find really beautiful specifically in Los Angeles?
I mean, mid-century,
Of course,
and then Spanish, Mediterranean, right? I mean, I love a good Spanish. They're unfortunately often very dark, you know, so then you're battling but they have beautiful thick walls and arches and a lot of wood details, but I also couldn't bring myself to paint over a historical dark wood ceiling with a bunch of like red, rich blues and greens, you know, which I just personally just don't like.
Yeah.
So if the home has too much architectural significance that I don't find aesthetically pleasing, I wouldn't take on that project because I'm not going to be the one to paint over that ceiling, right? So I'll just find something that the few things that I think are cool, I can work around and work with. And like we bought in Paradise Valley, Arizona, a 1964 mid-century.
Oh, wow.
And I got it because I told the son who was selling it, it was his dad's home, I won't tear this down. Yeah. Like everyone else who's coming here and giving you full price offers and wants this plot of dirt. Yeah. Your home is special and it shouldn't be torn down. It's great. Yeah. It's ugly as heck, but it's great. You know, it's fantastic. And I said, I'll give you a full price offer and, you know, pay more if I have to, but I promise you I won't tear it down. Now I've torn it apart. Yeah, but I didn't tear it down, and the facade remained, and the cool elements of it, and the clear story, and the original ceiling, the one that there was, and a lot of the slump block, and you know we're expanding on it, and we're improving it, but we're preserving the part that made that house cool. Yes, which is its exterior. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
You're not building like an Italian palazzo. No,
columns.
And like a little courtyard with, you know, I could get you like
a cherub fountain. Yeah. Could you? That'd be great.
I can do that. And like chew on juice jars. No?
No, you know, made the next one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll work on the next one.
Okay, good.
I love those houses very, very much.
Oof. Ouch. And there's so many cool houses out there that I feel like they need rehabilitation. You know, they need to be brought up to today so that they can last the next 20 or 30 years. Because if you don't improve them enough, they just look old. Yeah. And there's very few people that truly want to live in a time capsule,
Right.
you know? But there's a lot of wonderful things about 20s and 30s architecture, particularly in the Spanish veins, right? And whatnot. And then the mid-centuries, kind of 50s, 60s, 70s, I'm going to lump it all together in there, right? Like that is still interesting to people today. We're still building off of that, but yet they don't want a tile countertop, you know? And they don't want this like dark, sad wood all the time. So like bleach it, lighten it, right? But still keep some history there is important.
Keep the wood, not just,
They had the Biltmore there, right?
Yes.
When was that built? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because that's a fantastic property.
Fantastic. Yeah. I was just talking to Sandy about that. She was like, we have to go there, but I haven't been there yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A quick story. I did an internship when I was in Long Island when I was 21. And so one of the intern was there for 6 months. I was there for 3. I got to do an appraisal in the Catskills. He got to appraise the Biltmore. So I saw it on pictures, and I was like, this is just not fair. I know you're staying a lot longer, but, I'm in the Catskills appraising something that's like a tear down. And he was appraising, they were doing the whole work on the Biltmore. It was, I've been there once. It's really a magical place. So I don't know when that was built, because I assume that there must be some, like that architecture must have been throughout the area.
Yeah, it is. And, just being in the desert, you get a lot of that kind of Palm Springs bleed over right into that side of things. And there are some really cool, like Frank Lloyd Wright homes that have been preserved. Wow. And then the house that we purchased was an architect's home. His name was William Cartmel, and Cartmel and Rossman, I think, was the firm. And he did the library, the college, like a couple big kind of more commercial buildings, if you will. And then this was his private home that he built for himself. So he lived in it, and then the gentleman's father, who I bought it from, and then we're the third owner.
Oh, wow.
And so it's really cool to get to kind of be the custodian of something, and also give it enough new life that I know it's going to be appreciated for another at least 20 or 30 years. No one's going to think about tearing it down when I'm done with it, because the land value is so high. And they want to Camelback. Right there. Right in your backyard, that camel.
Wow.
Actually, from the front yard. I mean, from the moment you'd pull in the driveway and you get out of your car, you're like, whoa, it's literally a block away. It's right there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you have mountain views on 3 sides. So we added a guest house, which has just been framed. And I was there a few days ago and walking through, and it feels so amazing. And not many people could walk through a bunch of like 2x4s and get so excited. But I was like, yes, this is so good.
Yeah, just let me know, because I have my cowboy boots.
Oh, good.
And packed.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I'm ready for
You
the
have
guest
cowboy
house.
boots?
No, I don't.
Of course you don't.
But I'm gonna get some to go to.
Get some so we can. Yes.
It's
yeah.
very
Good
trendy
choice.
again, Laurent. So you have to get some cowboy boots.
I'm gonna get cowboy boots, and I'm gonna go to the horse show with Erinn. And
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
I think this is a good trajectory for your future. I think that's what you're missing is that real Americana cowboy.
Y'all are gonna be very impressed with me.
There's actually quite a few French, Italian, German, and Brazilian cowboys in this sport of reining. You'd be shocked. Yeah. So at the show, one of our trainer's former assistants is French, another guy, Italians, Germans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's funny. I'm like, the Germans are wearing cowboy hats? And the Italians, like, what's going on? And they're super into it. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's fun.
Oh, I like
so it's
that.
very,
Yeah.
very international.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So I want to, we are running a little bit out of daylight almost, but I want to start sort of winding down. So there are 3 questions that we ask every single one of our guests.
Okay.
And I'm really curious to know what your answers are going to be, just based on what we've talked about already. But number 1, what is the messiest place in your home?
Probably the garage.
The garage.
I live in a very tidy house.
Uh-huh.
I'm a serial cleaner-upper. That's how I wake up in the morning. I come downstairs and I fluff the pillows on the sofa that I sat on last night, and I do the dishes. Like that's how I wake up, is by touching things and starting to put things back together. So I don't like to leave the room if it looks a hot mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say maybe the garage, maybe a closet occasionally,
Sure.
Yeah.
But you keep everything very tidy. I have been noticing a pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
It feels like it.
All of our artists can like, oh, which room is it? It could be this room. It could be this room. And then for all of our designers, like, I don't have any mess.
Yeah, it's so funny.
But the
it?
garage
Yeah.
makes
Oh, yeah.
sense because the garage, I'm sure it's sort of, you know, kind of like catch all for everything. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and like we've now decided to sell the house and to move.
Okay.
So I would have like built proper built-ins and made all the
Oh,
mess
yeah.
hidden perfectly.
Naturally.
But because I had to stop somewhere with my remodel, and we've decided to like, you know, it's just that the location we're in, although we love the home, is just not the right location for us right now. Yeah, that's really why.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, second question. When you walk into a new space, what is the first thing that you notice?
I have no idea.
Really?
Whatever I'm looking at, I guess.
Huh.
I mean, is it a good space? Is it because are there
Yeah.
views? Is the furniture nice? Is it ugly? Is it messy?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no idea.
That's really interesting. Do you think that it's something different every time? Like when you walk into a room, because there are some people who have said like they'll notice a smell or they'll notice the
sure.
lighting or something like that. But I do like that you've said that you look at views and you're sort of like the height of ceilings. But yeah, that it's something different every time. You're just having an experience walking into a new space. I like
Yeah,
that.
I don't come with preconceived ideas or notions. Now, if it's stinky, I will
Oh,
notice.
sure.
I have a bloodhound nose for fragrance or food smells
Yeah,
or, you know,
yeah.
dirty carpet or just whatever it is. And I'm like, woo! So I would notice that. Or also on the other side of that, too much perfume. Stinky,
yeah.
fragrant candles are not my jam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can also just go to someone's home and just be at their house and not I'm not picking it apart, you
Yeah.
know? And a lot of people will say to me, oh, I'm nervous to have you come over. And I'm like, why? I'm not like judging you for some competition or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. You know, it's your house.
I
You
really-
live like however you want to
appreciate that.
live.
Yeah.
You know.
And then my last question for you is, what is your favorite room, either in your house or in a house that you've designed?
I'm not much of a favorites person.
Okay.
So that's also kind of hard for me. If you're to say like favorite food, favorite
Okay,
color, I'd be
yeah.
like, there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Currently, I'd say in this house that I live in, we love our bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's very large. I've never had a bedroom this size before, which
Wow.
when I first got, I'm like, who needs all this room? And now I'm like, I need all this room. It just feels great.
Yeah.
And vaulted ceilings. And so that we love the bedroom and the living room, which unfortunately is the least used room of the house. So it really bums me out. But like we just don't go in there more. But
Okay.
I've now moved my desk in there and I'm like really actively trying to use that room. And yesterday I sat in there all day and my husband came home at night and I was like, I was in the living room all day. And he was like, I'm so happy that you're using this room. It's too pretty to go empty. And
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because you use the outdoor a lot, right?
Yeah. We're always in the kitchen. You know, I mean,
Oh,
most people
yeah.
are always in the kitchen, I feel like, right? So you're in the kitchen, then we're in our like family room, dining room, then the bedroom. So half the house goes unused.
So I had the chance of helping out at a party, and you know when you fly first class and you have to go back to economy. I had a little bit of the same feeling. I cooked in that kitchen, and I'm like, do I really have to get back to?
Ah, my.
Because that kitchen is good.
It's a good
oh boy,
kitchen.
it's a good one.
Yeah. I was like, Laurent, do you want to come and like help with the barbecue / cook everything?
We had fun though.
We had so
but
much
yeah,
fun.
it was just like I was like working in that kitchen. It was well designed. It was big. There's a view. I'm like, "Ay, that's a little bit like flying first class, cooking first class here.
Yeah. I like that layout. I feel like it works really well.
The layout works great.
It works well.
The counters are like the perfect height.
Mm-hmm.
The light is really good in that kitchen.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know, it feels really good, and it's
Thanks.
just, I don't know, it was easy.
Yeah.
Because even it's like I did come and help, and sometimes you're like, when you don't know the kitchen, you feel a little bit out of sort.
Of course.
And this one, no, you felt it felt good. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
Yeah. I like living in different homes because I always am learning, and I'm literally creating a checklist in my mind of like, I like this drawer size in my vanity. Even last night I said to my husband, do you like these smaller drawers in the vanity? And he was like, yes. I'm like, now compared to the last house, Holly, did you like the big drawers at Holly? And he was like, no. And I'm like, I know, these are so much better.
Yeah.
So it's just a constant checklist moving through life around what do you like, what's
Yeah.
working, what's good about the light, what's good about this layout of this kitchen, why,
Right.
you know, because it's, to me, that's kind of the fun of figuring out a space, because you very much can have an opinion about something and be completely wrong, right? From paper
Yeah.
to being in the space and using it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's always a fun challenge of like, okay, what does this space look like on paper? And would I have put those things there? Probably not. You know, my stove is kind of in a weird place in a way that some people come over and they comment like, why isn't it over there? But when you're standing at it and you're looking out at the views while you're cooking,
Oh,
why do
wow.
you want to stand with your face 2 feet from the wall?
Yeah.
That's not
Right.
pleasant.
You have a
You know?
you have a window behind your stove.
Well, it's on a peninsula.
Oh yeah.
And so when you're standing there, you can either be looking and talking to the person
I
at the
think that's a
dining table
perfect
or
location
looking
for it,
out
yeah.
the view. And so standing there and chopping or whatever you're doing, you're looking out. It's very pleasant. You know, you're stirring and I'm talking to my husband who's sitting there on his laptop
Yeah.
versus facing the
Yeah,
wall
facing
and being
away
like,
from everyone. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I like
Yeah.
living and learning, you know, and then I
Yeah.
try to bring that into new homes and then argue with clients about why it's a good idea.
I know it's interesting because you know the instinct would have been to put it against the wall, which
For sure.
would have made it completely. I mean, a completely different kitchen. It would have been,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, no.
But that feels right.
Right.
It feels like it should be somewhere else, but actually in practice, it's better where it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So just we do have to wrap up a little bit, but what do you have, what are you working on right now that we should know about, and what do you have to plug?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
goodness. Well, my software company is amazing. So I
Oh,
started a
yeah.
company for designers to manage their workflow, do their client presentations and everything called Style Row.
Style Row, yes.
We've been doing a lot of feedback sessions with users lately,
Oh,
and
great.
it's so exciting to hear them say, like, I'm saving so much time. My clients love the software.
Yeah.
And that's the resounding comment. My clients love it. My clients love it. My clients love it. And my team loves it. And we save so much time. And I'm like, good. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And what else? Furniture, you know, make beautiful furniture. And I have quite a few licensed collections. We launched with Hartman Forbes last year.
Oh,
some window
amazing.
shades.
Yeah.
And yeah, so lots of good stuff to go out and check out on erinnvdesigngroup.com.
Beautiful.
ErinnVDesignGroup.com. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That has all the licensed collections.
Okay.
Erin V is the furniture brand,
Okay.
but just the custom made stuff.
Right.
None of the licensed collections.
That's good to know. I didn't. Yeah, because I obviously look at your furniture, which is awesome. So it's I didn't realize. And Style Row is growing, so that's also
Growing. Yeah,
to,
so we're also now building a realtor platform based on the software that we built and designed for realtors to use with their clients throughout escrow process.
Oh,
and
wow.
you know, as a developer working with my realtor on multiple projects, we have so many assets, PDFs, drawings, things that we're constantly trying to share and collaborate on. And I was like, wait, this is what my software does.
Oh,
So
that's
let's just
so
make a real
helpful.
estate
Yeah.
version.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so it's fun.
Well, congratulations on all of that. I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited, and I'm going to keep following your career. Obviously, I'm a big fan of yours.
Aw, thank you.
But thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for making the trek out here. And we have a party to have right now.
Yeah.
So we should get to
Well,
it,
we
right?
we have someone visiting from the desert. So
We certainly do. Yeah, and anytime Laurent's involved in any sort of party, food, wine situation, I'm the first one there.
you're so sweet.
I'm second. Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
being
Thanks for
here.
having me.
Yeah.